An elderly woman, clad in a wedding gown, stands on the brink of on a hotel escalator, a crimson diary clutched in her trembling hand. In her final moments, a poignant memory surfaces: her wedding day, her entrance into this very hotel with her beloved husband. Meanwhile, Carlos returns to his apartment, only to find his younger brother, Oliver, agitated and on edge. Attempting to soothe his brother's nerves, Carlos reveals that their mother has generously loaned them a significant sum of money, eliminating the need for illegal activities. Yet, Oliver's anxiety persists, and before he can explain the source of his distress, Detective Marco bursts into the room. Panic sets in as Carlos vehemently protests their innocence. However, it's too late. Marco, armed with a confession coerced from Oliver through intimidation, demands their immediate arrest. As Oliver pleads for mercy, Carlos requests an arrest warrant, which Marco lacks. Undeterred, the detective aims his weapon at the brothers, forcing Carlos to react defensively. A struggle ensues, and in the chaos, Marco's gun discharges, striking Carlos in the leg and sending him plummeting down the stairwell. Marco, perplexed by the sudden pain in his hand, is oblivious to the chaos unfolding around him. Oliver, meanwhile, rushes to his injured brother's side, desperately calling for help. A distant explosion echoes through the air, followed by an eerie silence. As Carlos's wound bleeds profusely, Oliver hastily fashions a makeshift bandage from his hoodie. Fueled by anger and desperation, Oliver lunges at Marco, seeking retribution. However, Marco quickly overpowers him, pinning him against the wall and issuing a stern warning. When Oliver suggests taking Carlos to a hospital, Marco dismisses the idea, insisting that the police station is equipped to handle the situation. With great difficulty, Oliver helps Carlos to his feet, and the trio begins their descent down the stairs. As Marco moves, he notices strange hairs clinging to his clothes, a perplexing mystery he cannot solve. They reach a locked door, forcing them to continue their journey. Yet, no matter how far they walk, the same floor stretches endlessly before them. The group looks up and down the corridor, their confusion growing with each passing moment. Marco orders the brothers to stay put as he dashes down the stairs, meticulously checking floor numbers and testing every door. After an arduous search, he finds himself face to face with Carlos and Oliver, who have inexplicably appeared behind him. Carlos, grappling with the excruciating pain, begins to question the reality of his situation. Marco, descending further into madness, repeats the futile attempt to find an escape. Oliver, ever hopeful, tries the door once more, only to be met with the same disappointing result. Upon Marco's return, the sight of the brothers triggers a wave of disbelief. To confirm the bizarre reality, he conducts a simple test, tossing his keys down the stairwell. The keys defy gravity, falling back into their hands from above. Marco, now convinced of their predicament, turns his suspicion towards the brothers, accusing them of drugging him. They vehemently deny the accusation, assuring him that they are trapped just as he is. With no signal on his phone and their cries for help falling on deaf ears, Oliver focuses on alleviating his brother's suffering. Despite Carlos's reluctance, Oliver insists on attempting to remove the bullet, fearing a potential infection. Marco, in a desperate bid to find relief, smashes a vending machine with a fire extinguisher, securing water for themselves. Hours pass, and the trio remains trapped in the endless stairwell. Marco, in a moment of introspection, opens his wallet and discovers a mysterious card, which he promptly destroys. Desperate to ease Carlos's pain, he offers him a powerful stimulant, a temporary escape from the torment. With Carlos unconscious, Marco and Oliver turn to the vending machine for sustenance. As they share a meal, Marco reveals a heartbreaking detail. Tonight was his 15th wedding anniversary. Oliver, consumed by grief and anger, issues a chilling threat: if Carlos dies, he will kill Marco. Desperate for any means of survival, Oliver rummages through his bag, only to find meager supplies. The next morning, Carlos stirs, but his life hangs by a thread. In his final moments, he imparts a poignant message to Oliver: to cherish life and seize every opportunity, a lesson he himself failed to heed. As Carlos succumbs to his injuries, Oliver is left heartbroken and alone. Marco, stunned by the vending machine's inexplicable restocking, descends into a state of panic. Oliver, overcome by grief and rage, almost pulls the trigger on Marco. However, Marco manages to calm him down, explaining that the shooting was an accident and that his erratic behavior is a result of his deteriorating mental state. Meanwhile, in a serene countryside home, Daniel and Camilla, under the watchful eye of their stepfather Roberto, practice a magic trick. Their mother, Sandra, reminds them to finish packing for their upcoming road trip to visit their biological father. Daniel gathers his belongings, a hamster and a deck of miniature playing cards, and, at Sandra's request, retrieves Camilla's spare inhaler. Before they can depart, a phone call interrupts their plans. Sandra, visibly irritated, assures the caller, the children's biological father, that Roberto has been sober for 5 years and will drive responsibly. Finally, The family sets off on their road trip. During the journey, Roberto spots a random piece of bamboo and impulsively tosses it out the window. They stop at a gas station, where Roberto, disregarding Camilla's sugar allergy, offers her a sip of juice. Camilla, needing to use the restroom, entrusts her inhaler to Roberto for safekeeping. Sandra, upon learning of this, reprimands Roberto for his carelessness. Back in the car, Camilla begins to experience an asthma attack. Sandra and Roberto rush to her aid, but in a moment of clumsiness, Roberto accidentally steps on and destroys the inhaler. To make matters worse, Daniel realizes he forgot to bring the spare inhaler. The family is forced to return home to retrieve another inhaler. As they drive off, a distant explosion echoes through the air. Returning to the gas station, they find it deserted. In a desperate attempt to alleviate Camilla's symptoms, Sandra takes a bottle of allergy medicine without paying. The journey continues, marked by tension and frustration. As Sandra berates Roberto, calling him a clumsy drunkard, Daniel attempts to intervene, urging them to calm down. However, his pleas fall on deaf ears. They eventually stumble upon another gas station, identical to the last. The eerie silence and the absence of any attendants further deepen their sense of unease. Undeterred, they press on. Minutes later, they encounter the same road sign, a chilling reminder of their repetitive predicament. Roberto, realizing the road is caught in a loop, becomes increasingly agitated. Daniel, mistrusting Roberto's judgment, attempts to leave the car, but Roberto restrains him. Sandra, driven by desperation to help Camilla, insists on continuing the journey. As Camilla's her skin turning blue, Sandra's cries fill the car. The endless repetition of the road sign and the gas station, coupled with the strange behavior of time, creates a sense of dread. Finally, Roberto, desperate for a solution, decides to leave the car and venture into the field. He hopes that a different direction might lead them out of this endless cycle. Watching Camilla's condition worsen, Sandra, driven by desperation, decides to take matters into her own hands. Ignoring Daniel's warnings, she drives off, lost in a surreal nightmare. When she finally stops the car, overwhelmed by despair, Daniel and Camilla seize the opportunity to escape. Sandra, oblivious to their absence, continues her futile journey, carrying his sister. Daniel returns to the road sign, witnessing Sandra's car pass through the loop once more. Sandra, trapped in the endless cycle, seeks solace in the gas station, hiding to weep over her shattered hopes. Back at the road sign, Daniel lays down beside Camilla, forced to confront the heartbreaking reality of her death. As he mourns his sister, Roberto emerges from the field, confirming that every direction leads back to the same loop. Time, a cruel and relentless force, marches forward. 35 years later, Marco and Oliver remain trapped in the stairwell. Marco, now an aged and frail man, struggles to navigate the steps, his body weakened by time. Oliver, in contrast, has maintained his physical and mental health through reading, music, and exercise. The daily reset of the vending machine and the bag has become a routine, allowing Oliver to accumulate a collection of items. Oliver has transformed the stairwell into a makeshift home, complete with a water bottle shower. A simple nail clipper is his grooming tool, while Marco's side remains a chaotic mess. Oliver often assists Marco with basic needs, a stark contrast to their former dynamic. Both men have succumbed to the endless cycle, their sanity eroded by time. Oliver, seeking solace, performs a ritual involving Camilla's skeleton during the daily reset, sometimes dragging Marco into the macabre spectacle. The walls are a testament to their madness, covered in cryptic writings that track time and their deteriorating minds. Marco, obsessed with memory, constantly calculates ages, fixating on his own, Oliver's, and his long-lost daughter's. Before sleep, he repeats his name, a desperate attempt to hold on to his identity. On the hotel escalator, the old woman's life ends, her final act a symbolic passing of a small creature. In the endless road, 35 years have passed, leaving the family trapped in a surreal loop. Roberto, a decrepit figure, inhabits the car, his life reduced to squalor. Sandra, a mere shell of her former self, is subjected to his disturbing actions. Meanwhile, Daniel, now an adult, survives on the field, accompanied by his loyal hamster. Daniel has transformed his field into a makeshift camp, utilizing the gas station's resources to ensure his survival. He's also preserved a collection of drawings, a tangible record of his time in the loop. With each reset, he discards the newly appeared inhaler, adding to a growing pile of discarded hope. To pass the time, he indulges in music, nature walks, and even a solitary game of cards with his loyal hamster. One day, a familiar sight catches Daniel's eye, Camilla's plushie, left by Roberto. Seeking answers, Daniel approaches Roberto, who mentions Sandra, a name that holds no meaning for Daniel. Roberto, unfazed, explains that Sandra's memory has also faded, a consequence of their eternal existence in the loop. He hints at a crucial revelation, but the words escape him. In a moment of clarity, Roberto connects the dots, realizing that that their current existence is a distorted reflection of their true lives. It's a revelation shared by Marco, who, in a late-night outburst, reveals his true identity as Daniel and the tragic event that triggered the infinite loop, the killing of Carlos. On the endless road, Sandra's life finally ends, her spirit released from the torment of the loop. Roberto, burdened by grief and guilt, lays her to rest beside Camilla, a somber tribute to their shared fate. Daniel weeps as he witnesses the unfolding events, lost in the depths of his memories with his sister. Roberto divulges a heartbreaking truth. Sandra ceased speaking around 2 decades ago, coinciding with Daniel's departure to live independently. He believes her passing was a merciful release from the torment she endured. A chilling sensation grips both Roberto and Marco, a debilitating headache that sends them writhing in agony. They emerge from the pain, their vision now crystal clear, a harbinger of their impending demise. They confirm the surreal nature of their existence, an alternate reality birthed from a tragic incident they caused. To prevent a cyclical repetition of their fate, they implore Daniel and Oliver to resist actions that could trigger another loop. They also stress the importance of recording their names, a lesson they learned too late. Roberto warns Daniel that upon sighting a police car, he will forget his identity. Marco imparts a similar warning to Oliver, but with a twist: an elevator, a non-existent fixture in the building. Roberto, revealing his true name, Ruben, recounts a harrowing childhood experience. At 10 years old, he, a classmate, and a teacher were stranded on a bamboo raft. A tragic accident, involving the teacher and the other boy, set in motion a nightmarish 35-year ordeal on a raft adrift, forever denied the solace of land. The teacher, on the brink of death, shared a chilling revelation: a 35-year loop, an endless journey on an infinite train track. This echoes Roberto's own experience, a haunting echo from the past. Roberto, once trapped in this eternal cycle, was inexplicably returned to land, forging a new life with Sandra and the children. Yet, the memories of his past remain dormant until now. Marco, too, shares a parallel tale with Oliver, revealing his former identity as Daniel. He recounts Roberto's warning about the police car, a warning he disregarded, leading to a reset of his life as Marco, devoid of past memories. Both old men insist on the illusory nature of their current reality, a torturous emotional prison, while their true selves live fulfilling lives. Their physical and emotional movements, they claim, fuel the energy of their real selves, propelling them forward. A death, a catalyst for the incident, is necessary to perpetuate this cycle. Younger individuals, more attuned to life's potential, endure the 35-year ordeal with greater resilience. Subconsciously, they serve their real selves, still on the precipice of life's journey. The elderly, bound by the chains of the past, are unable to contribute to this cosmic exchange. As approaches, Roberto and Marco entrust Oliver and Daniel with a small red diary, a treasure trove of pictures and life notes, a final gift from their tormented souls. Oliver retreats to his familiar routine, while Daniel fulfills his final duty, burying Roberto alongside his family. Drawn to the road, Daniel spots a previously unseen police car. After confirming its emptiness, he returns to the camp, rescuing his hamster and salvaging a few belongings before setting the rest ablaze. Yet, upon touching the car, a fog descends, erasing his memory. The hamster slips from his grasp as he drives away, a new life unfolding. Clad in the police uniform found within the car, Daniel transforms into Detective Marco, a new identity forged in the city. His actions, the murder of Carlos, ignite a fresh loop. Oliver, haunted by the newly appeared elevator, battles a creeping madness. The allure of self grows, but he resists. Desperate, he finally steps into the elevator, emerging as Carl, a humble hotel bellboy. A married couple enters, their affection palpable. Oliver maintains his composure until they depart, at which point he releases a bee, its sting triggering a severe allergic reaction in the groom. In the distance, an explosion echoes, signaling the birth of another loop. Thanks for watching. Show your support by subscribing and enabling notifications.